Another delivery day means another checklist. Let's get right into it. One of our most popular video is actually the delivery checklist, and we started doing that quite a while back, and we created a PDF. So we're doing the exact same thing for the new 26 Model Y Juniper. It's very similar to the previous one, but we've made some edits if you have the launch edition. So this video, we're not going to go over every single thing, but I'm just going to point out a few things that you really want to look out for. And I just want to say that Tesla has done an amazing job on this particular build. I really had zero issues. I had one very minor on the wheel where actually, so on the tires, where it was a little bit chipped, but it wasn't anything that was going to be an issue. So I took delivery of it and they put it on their notes and they can replace it at a later time. So first off, we'll pretty much go through the first things to look out for: exterior, and then of course the interior, and then there's just a few other things like electronics and so on. So we're just going to go through it. So when you get your car, the number one thing that you want to do is check your VIN number, right? This is obvious, but you really do want to check. The VIN number is here for the Model Y, and just make sure that it is correct with your phone. So your phone, you should have a VIN matched. Make sure you check that so you have the right car. Make sure you have the color that you chose. Also the interior. So right now the Model Y comes in either black interior or white interior. We got the white interior, which is really cool. I like the white seats. So just making sure that those are good. Couple things that you also want to make sure that you get is you do want a front license plate holder. My state in Tennessee doesn't actually require a front one, okay? So from my knowledge, from my delivery, I did not get a bracket or anything. They just actually put a temp tag, and I'll show you what they did. They just basically just use this plastic plate and use a double-sided tape to put it in. So that's really all they did. So don't expect a bracket or anything like that. You might want to get a bracket for yours. And then lastly, if you do have the launch edition, you should get a mobile connector, which is not the wall connector, but it's the one that you can still use on 220 volt. You also get a SAE J1772 adapter, which is in the back. And then also, while you're there, just ask them to put the newest software so you have the best FSD and so on. So those are very simple things. So before I get into the exterior, you're probably wondering, why in the world does my Y look already all messed up? Well, we literally got it less than 24 hours ago, and we already started taking it apart and scanning these cars, right? Part of what we do, and with your support, we've been able to design a lot of our templates in-house and make our designs so that you can, customize, protect, and maintain your Tesla. So it's a little bit apart, so it was going to take a long time to put it back, so I'm sorry, right? So we have the do-yourself PPF kits coming out, so you can get it at testbros.com. So that being said, now that the explanation is gone, let's talk about the paint and the wheels. So this paint is called Quicksilver. What you're wanting to look for, right? And the best thing when you're doing a delivery checklist is you want to get some of these, imperfections during delivery before you take delivery, so that even if you do take delivery, they have it in notes and they could fix it. There's going to be some level of imperfections, right? And it depends on how far you want to go in terms of the detailedness, right, of it, right? But what you're looking for is like trash underneath the paint, and I actually don't have any trash on this paint. Meaning, when I say trash, it's like when you're painting, there's a contaminant and it gets painted over and it kind of gets buried in with a clear coat. It's a really obvious. It's like literally like dirt nibs and stuff like that. The other thing that you want to look for is look for nibs. Those are smaller trash, I guess, scratches, and so on. So that's pretty self-explanatory. When we inspected this car, we actually saw, surprisingly, we didn't see anything on this car. So other than, missing, I'm just kidding. This was not missing. We took that out. So that's what you want to do for the paint. The other thing that we always say is when you see a scratch, just get your nail. My fingers are really dirty. I've been working outside, but you just want to get your nail and go over it like this. And if you can feel it on that surface, it means a little bit too deep. That's something that you definitely want to probably bring up to the Tesla service center. If it's something that's like really minor, you could probably tell them and they could buff it out super quick, right? So tell them that too, if that bothers you, right? You also want to check out these wheels. The wheels without the cover actually looks like this. And this is actually the Crossflow 19-inch wheels. You also have the option of a 20 20-inch wheels, which is called Helix, I think. And you just want to look for any curbs. Sometimes during transit, it can get really dinged up and stuff like that. So this one, again, had almost no issue here. Speaking of the wheels and tires though, I'll show you where we did find something, and it was in the passenger side. And if you look at this tire, again, very, very minor. There was a little bit of a very minor gash. And I know that's aesthetic, but hey, it's a new car, so you can bring that up. And honestly, Tesla Chattanooga has been amazing. They're an awesome service center, so they can figure that out too. This is super minor too, but you just want to make sure that all the stem valves are right there. Right? And then before you go, just check your PSI, because you want to make sure that it's all holding air, right? Consistent air, right? Instead of like, if one of them is 42, 42, 42, and then 25, there's obviously an issue with that one tire, right? So just check that. So still going in the exterior, like I said, Tesla has come such a long way in terms of panel gaps and so on. On the Model Y, when I looked at this, in all cars, typically you do want to see the panel gap from here to here in terms of the trunk. So if you kind of look at an outer perspective, it's pretty dang even. The other thing that you want to do is just open it, right? All the way. Oh man, that's too high. And then close it. And you can actually adjust that. I'll show you that in another video. So that's something that you want to do, and it closes fine. It doesn't sound anything else. Really, nowadays, all of these other panels is good, right? Like, look at this panel, absolutely perfect. There's almost no raised edges, and then the door sounds great. This is something, I mean, it sounds so much better than previous gen, right? It sounds solid, right? And then, of course, you also want to check out the frunk. And if you look at it on an outer perspective, just kind of wide. Sorry, this side has PPF, so it looks a little janky, but it's very, very even. I can't actually open it because this PPF is going to mess up. But you want to open this frunk up, making sure that there's no, I've noticed that if it's really bad, this is previous gen, not on the Model Y, but when it opens, it kind of goes like that a little bit. So if that happens, that's something that you want to bring up. So for the panel stuff, that's really the basic stuff that you want to look at. Of course, some certain things we put here is like, look at your glass roof. This is a whole roof all the way from front to back. So you just want to make sure that there's no chips or cracks or really anything. Sometimes you'll see during installation, maybe there's a stress crack or something like that. Those are things that you want to bring up at this time. So when we go back to the back, you also want to make sure that you have the correct badge, right? So when I mean badge, I'm actually a no badge guy. I prefer that. But you just want to make sure you have the launch edition badge. This is a dual motor with an accelerator booster right here. And then this typically comes like that. So that's really what you're looking for, okay? So now that we've done all the exterior, we can go into the electronics. Of course, you want to make sure you have these key cards, and this works. So what I mean by that is if you just tap this, I guess I got two in here. I've never used this.
I think you set it up.
Oh, no, it should work right away. Okay, let me see if I could, I saw it though, as far as the settings go. All right, I turned off my Bluetooth. You turn off your Bluetooth. It's not locking. Oh, now it's locked. Pretty sure this is a key. All right, so we did not check this, and we did not bring our own delivery checklist because we're so eager to work on it. Our key cards do not work. So this is something that you do want to tell them. It might be I don't know if it's a software issue. We did have an issue with our Cybertruck when it wasn't working, just for the pillar one. So not sure, we have not disassembled this. So if you're asking, oh, you must have done something, we did not do anything other than putting this vinyl on there. And no, vinyl's not gonna affect the scanning, because it's all good. So that's definitely something you wanna work on. You wanna go inside as well and then check your Bluetooth connectivity, which it was working, because once I turned on my Bluetooth, check this out, it automatically Opens, yay. So that definitely works. All your phone app functions work. And this is something you can do on your app itself. And you just want to make sure that like right now we don't even have it named. You pretty much do stuff like locking it, you know, unlocking it, the frunk, charge port, America, right? And so on. You just want to check all of those. This is a safety thing too, but you definitely want to make sure that all your lights work. Typically that's not a problem. Look at this, new stock system. You see the lights working. Also if you have an autopilot on there, the autopilot will light up. Not on my watch. So you got the headlight that lights up as well, right? So that's something that you definitely want to check at. You want to make sure side mirrors. So this, again, hasn't been issues. This is an anomaly. All these things I say is an anomaly. Like, it doesn't happen often anymore, right? But like this right here, you just want to make sure that, I'll just show you real quick. Can fold your mirrors, right? And then, there you go. You'll hear like kind of like a crack sound. I don't know, like that's the best sound I can do. On that, basically that's it. Windshield wipers, I need to go back inside. I already did the charge port, you know, and of course charging works. So windshield wipers as simply as, that's it. Really smooth. Typically it's not going to be a problem with chattering and all that stuff. I mean, that is super clean, so that's not an issue. So now that we've gone to the exterior, that's really what you're looking for. You're looking for panel gaps, you're looking for paint issues or anything like that. So we can go straight into the interior. So let's come around. You know, we have even had this car for over like 10 miles. I haven't even changed the settings, and I do not know why, but it keeps doing this thing. Is it because your phone? Okay, I need to save the easy entry. That's what it is. This easy entry is like hard entry. That's what they need to rename that to, right? Not good. So here's the interior materials. So look at your surfaces, right? Just making sure that there's no scuffs on the seat itself. Just giving a nice visual inspection, right? If there's a little bit of dirt here and there, that's fine. Bring a microfiber. That's what I typically tell people. Just get some interior cleaner, all-purpose cleaner, and then just check it. We said to check the windshield for any ripples in the glass. What we mean by that is sometimes it is an open container. That's usually not an issue because it's on the back side, right? So if rocks come in, it's mostly going to hit the truck that it transports the cars. But I mean, I don't know, something could come up and then hit it. So what you're looking for is like a little ripple and making sure that it's not, you know, like an actual damage on the glass. So you want to look inside and just look all the way across front, middle, and back to make sure there's no damage on there as well. So for launch edition, you get this nice Alcantara. Not gonna lie, I actually like the Alcantara compared to the fabric, or of course like the carbon fiber. I prefer this. I think it's a little bit more subtle, which I like. Okay, the center console. This is pretty simple, but make sure there's no like weird thing going on. This is the same thing as the Model 3. You have a launch series, you actually get a sign right there that says launch series. I don't know, maybe we should make a little vinyl, but that's too small. That's so small to cut. You also want to make sure that, yeah, and this is actually a wrap that we tested already on, but we want to just make sure that all of this cup holder stuff works, and it works perfectly fine. You know, all that stuff, all that good stuff. What else do we need to do? All right, so in here, there's not a whole lot of paint, but you do want to just make sure that everything inside is also good. So like the door edge, we call this the door sill area. You just want to inspect that area as well. For launch edition and for dual motors, you should get an actual mat. It's not the fanciest mat, but some people like the carpeted mats, and this is what it'll look like. It's nicely stitched like that, but it is a nice fitment, honestly. We are going to come out with weather mats, but these will do for now. So again, look at the seats really well. The back seats are aligned. Again, this hasn't really been an issue, but if you look back here, this seat is individualized, and then these two are actually connected for the most part. You could actually disconnect it, but they are. So just make sure that when it's back there, it's actually flushed. That's flushed and it's fine. And I actually did the, I guess I moved the seat up and down just to kind of check that. Sweet. So moving on, straight now to electronics. So there's a lot of electronics. This whole car is all electric, right? So basic things like windows, right? I already did check this. You want to check that. You want to make sure that AC is on right now, feels fantastic. So the front seats actually have ventilated cooling and heating. You want to check that. The rear seats do not have actually cooling, but it does have heating in the back two seats where it's actually has this perforations right here. So you just want to check that. If you have a family, have them come in, do all the tests together. You just want to make sure all the buttons work all across the car. What are some things to look out for? Yeah, sometimes, you'll want to make sure you check your seats like this. You could actually move the passenger seats from the menu as well. So you could go to seats and you can see I can move it, right? So you don't need to have someone else do that. So you could do that. There is a motor, a pretty strong motor right here. So that's just something you want to check. Other things, it's like when you're doing this, you're hearing for any squeaks. You hear that? It's super smooth. You don't really hear anything, so that's really good. You want to check all the power. So there's actually USB-C over there. There's actually, whoa, is there an outlet here? No, that's a light.
Is it? Oh, wait, right here.
Oh, okay, sorry. There's a USB-C right there. I know there's usually, they keep changing this. Okay, this is where the 12 volts. So if you have, they used to call this what, the cigarette lighter, right? No cigarette lighter here, but that's where you could, connect your certain accessories and stuff like that to access the 12 volt battery. And then, yeah, there's actually another USB inside here, but that's for like the sentry cam and stuff like that. So just making sure that you get power on some of those and your devices can charge, your kids' devices can charge. And then, this is this is never really a huge issue, but you just want to make sure that everything is super smooth and the screens are working, right? It's obviously working here. And of course, on the rear, you have another one. So your kids or whoever in your family or your friends can pretty much just play around with it, making sure that everything is working down there. So I talked about the USB. We talked about the wireless phone charger. Just put your phone right there. Most people have, a MagSafe or something like that. The 12 volt DC receptacle, we already talked about that as well. This is cool. This is something new to the launch edition and the new Model Y. My cameras aren't working because I don't have cameras right now because I removed them. You can see that this is a front camera and it has a washer. Look at this. Boop. That is so cool. I wish the rear had it too. So they need to start doing that. This one does not have a sprayer. So we could definitely see if we can make that work. But that's what you want to check as well. Voice control, music streaming. These are things that you could actually do on your drive back. But you can just make sure that all your music is working as well. This is the last thing. I just do this. I call your friend. Tell them about your new Model Y. And just checking to see that the microphone is really good and all speakers emit sound. So for copyright purposes, we're not going to play sound. We did it in one of the videos, and obviously we got flagged. So we're not going to play any sounds, but just play your favorite song. Make sure all the speakers are working fine. This thing has a ton of speakers, so definitely make sure that there's no clipping sound. When I say clipping, it's like this sharp sound. When it distorts, that's what that is, right? So that's what you're kind of checking for. But basically, that's the whole list. We have this downloadable in a PDF format where you could just print it off or just put it on your phone and save it in your books or something like that and just kind of check it off as you go. You want to make it easy. But I've always believed that, this is a brand new car, so you want to make sure that you do get a brand new car. I think Tesla has done an amazing job as far as improving the quality, the build quality, and the cars itself. But sometimes anomalies happen and sometimes you might get a bad car. So this is just a list for you to kind of walk through so that you make sure that you have the perfect Model Y that you deserve. So hopefully this helped. We like doing these videos. Sometimes it can be a little bit similar, but I think there's some aspects of this delivery checklist that's a little bit different from the previous gens. So if you have any questions, let us know. We would love to hear about your Model Y delivery in the next coming weeks. So put those in the comments below. Would love to hear that this helped you. We'll see you later. Click on the subscribe button.